Hey, coming at you with part two right away. Okay, part two is coming right on the heels of part one as far as production goes here. And I left off with the thought of why uh, the whole game playing analogy. If it's got to be a tie score every day, what's the point in playing the game? Okay, a level playing field is good. You always want a level playing field. But that is so you have fair competition, not so that the results are always the same. Everybody has their own special talents, their own special needs, their own special thing. Um, some people have multiple talents. Some people really have just one major talent. I've been blessed because I can work with my hands. Uh, I can also teach, which is what I'm doing right now. So ultimately, uh, I sell what I have learned to other people as far as teaching goes. So here's the net deal, and this is something that confused a lot of people when I say that socialism is driven primarily by fear and greed, whereas capitalism is driven by freedom and incentive. Okay. Fear and greed. Greed is what drives socialism, believe it or not. Think about what is required to what do you want out of socialism? What do you gain out of socialism? What is the government promising you if socialism comes to pass? Don't have to look very far. They're promising you something for nothing. Free stuff. Yeah, it's all free. The government's going to give me this, and the government's going to give me that, and the government's going to give me something else. And I don't even have to work for it. That is greed. Just give me all the free stuff. I don't want to have to pay for it. Okay. My taking my ideas out and selling them, or my going out to the shop and fixing somebody's car, uh, that's free enterprise. That's taking my talent and passing it on to someone else for uh, some money. Economics, the term itself, is the study of how we allocate our scarce resources. The primary scarce resource, of course, being money. So, in socialism, you don't get to allocate your scarce resources. That's not how socialism works. Socialism, somebody else decides what you need, and then you get that, sort of. Have you noticed how many people are standing in lines in Venezuela for food? It was the same thing in the Soviet Union. Uh, to a certain degree, there are shortages in China and Vietnam. And look at Cuba. There's all kinds of shortages. Why are there shortages in the perfect system? Because everybody wants their free stuff, but there's no incentive to go out and earn it. I worked in a factory for a number of years. And one of the things I learned while working in this factory was how things really work with human nature. And by the way, human nature is something that uh, Adam Smith kind of refers to from time to time, but it's something totally missing from Karl Marx's works. He didn't even touch on that. It's probably the most glaring error in Marxism. And Marxism is full of errors. But the most glaring one is the fact that he doesn't take into account human nature. Here's what I learned working in a factory. Okay. Let's say you got 3 people building widgets. Okay. In capitalist society, in a free market and a free enterprise, okay, we'll say the first fella cranks out 15 widgets a day. Phenomenal productivity. We'll say the second guy is a little more average. He gets about 10 widgets a day. And we'll say that the last guy, this really isn't his bag. He's only getting 5 widgets a day out. Now, they're all 3 working hard. They're all 3 building widgets like crazy. They're putting in their 8 hours. They're working hard. They're hitting it. Production of widgets is at 30 widgets a day with these 3 guys. Okay, so let's break this down a little farther, and let's say that you're getting paid by the piece. Now, obviously, you don't get to keep the whole sum of what a widget sells for, because the company that hired you needs to make a profit. They invested in the facilities to build widgets. They have the overhead cost, the accountants, the merchandising, the tax management, all that stuff. And obviously the raw materials to make widgets. But you're getting paid by the piece. So fellow number 1 is obviously making a killing because he's producing 15 widgets a day. The second guy, he's doing all right. He's making it. And the third guy, well, he's not doing so hot. So we decided to go to a socialist system where everybody makes the same. Because guy in third place there, it's not a fair system. It's just not fair because I can't make the kind of money that these guys are making, even though I'm doing the same job. Same job, but I'm making less money. That's not fair. So let's level the playing field here. Let's make it fair for everybody. So everybody gets paid the same amount now. Well, guy number 3 is happy as heck because now he's making the same amount of money as guy number 2, even though he's not doing any better. Guy number 1 is torqued because now he's making 15 widgets a day for he's getting paid to make 10. So what happens? Human nature kicks in. Pretty soon, guy number 1 drops rate. He's only making 10 widgets a day. because there's no point in making 15. If I'm only getting paid for 10, I'm only making 10. Bottom line, that's it. Okay, well, company's been selling 30. Now they're only getting 25. Holy mackerel, there's a shortage. We're gonna have to lower the price or something. Raise the price to I don't know. So we got two guys making 10 and one guy making 5. Well, pretty soon the second guy, he's looking over there and he sees that the first guy's taking long breaks, taking long lunch, screwing off at the water cooler. He's only putting in half an effort. And it's like, well, I'm busting my buns here. I'm working hard. And I'm getting paid the same as him. And I'm in my machine the full 8 hours. And here he is, off wandering around, screwing off. This just ain't right. Because we're both getting paid the same. So the next thing you know, guy number 2, he starts doing the same thing. He starts taking long lunches and extended breaks. And pretty soon he's only making 6 widgets a day. Well, now the third guy on the totem pole is looking around here and he sees his coworkers are gone half the day and he's been here the whole 8 hours. And that just ain't right. You see where this is going. It's a downward spiral. Eventually, a plant that was producing 30 widgets a day and selling 30 widgets a day, there's still a market for them. There's still people out there that want to buy widgets. But at the end of the day, they're only getting 7 widgets a day, not 30. There's still a market for 30 widgets a day, but we can't make 30 widgets a day anymore because nobody's going to put forth that kind of effort. There's no incentive. Interfere. Hey, if you guys don't stay at your machine and work the full 8 hours, you're fired. Well, that picks up production to 10 widgets a day. But let's face it, these guys have no incentive. They're gonna, maybe they don't take extended lunches and breaks now, but they're not working super hard because they're not getting paid to. That is the difference between socialism and capitalism. That's why socialism frequently has shortages. That's part of the problem down in Venezuela right now. Why they have shortages? Because everybody's on the, I ain't getting paid for it, bandwagon. It's, like I say, it's the one huge flaw in Marxism that Karl Marx never considered. I have read nothing in any of the works about human nature, with one notable exception. When he talked about communism, he made the point that people will not voluntarily accept socialism. Won't happen. You have to lie to them to get them to accept it. The bigger the lie, the better. And that is how Marx sold Marxism. You have to lie to people to get them to accept it. Once it's accepted, you immediately dismantle the capitalist structure and you force government will on the people with a totalitarian regime. Now, Marx thought that this was only temporary, that eventually the workers would all work their way into this socialist utopia. Human nature just hasn't kept pace there. At no point in time has human nature ever allowed this flourishing socialist utopia because, hey, I'm not getting paid for it. And that ends part 2 on socialism. More to come, I promise. And we'll talk a little bit more about economics, why there are shortages and surpluses, and how they balance out in the capitalist market, but not so much in the socialist market. Till next time.